to everybody never to let a film crew in your house. Yeah.
Anton, it's a delight to have you here. So many roles, so much we could be talking about. You played Prime Minister, you've been at Pope. Anton's here played one of the two popes quite recently. So where to start with Chief Superintendent Bright? He's a very different personality to Morse, I think it's fair to say. Bright is very by the book, Morse is more kind of, I guess, the word maverick is a more Morse. How do you think their relationship has changed over the years, over the series?
It didn't get off to a good start. Although the actors themselves got off to a great start, because when I showed the first day of shooting, I couldn't say a word without Sean he couldn't stop laughing. And I know we all have people who, they just have funny bones, and you in their company, you just find them funny. Well, I've never felt I was like that. But Sean, for some reason, they'd say action, and he'd look at me and he'd go, I was nervous at my first day. And I was thinking, what am I doing to make him laugh? But it was great because it was just a lovely way to start our relationship with actors, and therefore allowed the relationship of the two characters to really go to places. It made us brave enough to go to places that perhaps we wouldn't if we hadn't got on so well. But coming back to the characters, I mean, it's a huge arc, I think. Bright starts off as a kind of, martinet, a very sort of strict, someone who's come in to clean up the station. He said something like, we went over the Spanish practices here. I'm trying to clear what that meant. I haven't asked, apparently, Ben Cox used to clean up the station. And so he was always Endeavour was from the beginning a thorn in his side, in that endeavour to clean up the station. He was like a handbrake on it. So, but then there was this sort of gradual realization that in spite of the brittleness of the relationship and the inappropriateness of these two very different characters, there was somewhere where they met. And as the series went on, I think we found those moments more and more. That was delightful to find. And by the end, of course, well, not the end, not looking at the end, but by where we got up to certainly last series, there were moments when you could see Bright, having been softened up by his own troubles, able to recognise the vulnerability in the young man. And we were always looking for those moments, and always looking for the moments outside of the uniform, which I longed for, if I had a fiver for every scene that was cut, but it was necessary because for my certainly, we didn't advance the plot each week. So we were the first to go. We were in a similar position. And it got to the point where there would be lovely scenes with... Sorry, I'm going too long.
I'm loving hearing behind the scenes. Disappointment that you've ended on cutting room floor.
I mean, you get used to that as an actor. It's like part of the job description. But particularly for something like this, where you only see a little sliver of a character, and in the same position, you want to see those moments behind you, from outside of that environment, because that's what we love as an audience, isn't it? We want to see the whole human being. So I cherish those scenes, and there would often be times when Roger and I would be doing a scene where we just were two blokes talking about the past and life. They were great scenes, and you sort of knew as you were shooting them that
never made it.
Never even made it. Because Russell wrote out, didn't he? By about at least 40 minutes or something.
Yes.
Anyway, can't remember this.
We were talking about your character. It just takes us a while to start to see the man behind Bright, isn't it? And lots revealed in series 7, in season 7. That's when your wife is very ill, and spoiler alert, she dies. How much of your... Because that's
I heard laughing because it was like, oh, I get a wife. Oh, she's dead. Panicking.
Because you see much more vulnerable side of Bright from that experience, don't you?
Yeah.
And it certainly helps us as viewers, it helps us really start to care. And I think we all now really care about Bright and what happens. The point where at the start of this series, when you announced that you're planning to retire, I want to go, are you sure that's the right thing? I'm sorry, what are you going to do with your time? Because that job just seems like a vocation rather than a job.
Yeah, I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.
We have got police officers here.
It's the story of your daughter. Do you remember that scene about your daughter? That it was just like moved from
Yes.
to series, wasn't it?
Yeah, this whole backstory about the child that died in India, and tiny little touches we had one scene where, if you remember, Morse comes round to Bright's house. Can't remember what it's called. And Bright says, like a drink, and he goes off to get him a drink, and Morse is looking at the photographs on the mantel. And Bright comes in and catches him and sees him looking at the little girl, and it's so kind of sparse, the tiny touches. He just says, yes. Pretty little thing, the tropics. Uses this whole story of this child coming, you think, why, how, what? Let's find out more. No. You make it up in the end. I think I know what happened.
But how does it, because I was going to ask you that, when we see an insight into Bright and his life away out of uniform, have you, as an actor, kind of already created a backstory for him? How much of that backstory was given to you by the writer, and how much do you bring to it to think this is who I think he would have been?
A bit of both, really. I mean, I'm trying to remember. I mean, I'm the laziest actor I know. So it's very likely that I did absolutely bugger all research about anything. I was chatting to where is the real policeman who was reading. When I got the job, a neighbour said, what are you doing? I said, I want to do a crime drama, sequel, prequel to Morse. And he said, and he turned out to be a real policeman in Oxford in the 70s. So I was picking his brains, and he said, what rank he play as a chief superintendent? I said, what? He said, 2 things. He'll be a bastard, and he'll be a piss artist. That was my research. But obviously I didn't take that on board. It certainly was interesting, and I think we talked about it before, that culture of drinking. And he said that the alcohol bars in police stations were only got rid of very recently, in the 80s or something, or early 2000s. So this whole culture of drinking during the is that what?
Dermot is confirming that. Dermot Norris is confirming the bars were that.
The bar in Norwich is now offices, and about 2004 they converted them to offices, but we used to have functions
Yeah. Reminded me very much of the BBC in the 70s. If you're working, I remember directors, they were great before lunch, after lunch, forget it. I can remember some of that, particular person.
The series is set, you were talking about your neighbour who's a police officer.
Yeah.
The series is set between 1965 and 1972, I think. So you must have memories of that time as a teenager.
70s? 70s? Well, Scotland in the 70s, I think I was at drama school, wasn't I? Or just starting out with RSC. I was a teenager once, but it gets so much further than 70s, yeah.
Do you remember any of the scenes that you're filming now, or any of the sort of the wide scenes, not in the police station, but the culture and the changes that were happening then? Do you remember those from the time? Can you tap into any memories from then to think about now?
Well, things like the one about the rockets. There was one about, was it? Apollo, yes. Yeah. No, I was too busy being a student. I wasn't thinking about current affairs or politics or society. I think I was just being a student. I'm looking at you. But it was not, I think that's one of the nice things. I mean, you please tell me, but I think it's one of the nice things about the series and why people love it, is that it's sort of, the reference points for your own experience as you've gone through your teenage years, adolescence, middle years, reference points of what was happening in that time, and then you see it dramatised or incorporated into a drama. There's a real nice connection.
It's hearing that it's memories your grandparents and parents tell you that you then see being played out. Abigail was talking about her family.
Yeah.
Do you think you've grown to like Bright more as the series has gone on?
Yeah, definitely. The more of a human being you can see revealed, the more you recognise as your own humanity, and then it becomes something that is just delightful to inhabit, because you get, it's hard to play characters who are just this or just that, or maybe just 2 or 3 things. You want as much complexity as possible, because that's what is interesting to share. You want to share complexity because we are complex, and that's what we want to see reflected in storytelling, isn't it? I think that's what's lovely about ENDEAVOUR, but it would have been even lovelier if we had seen more of that, you know what I mean? Because I still feel I was trying to find the complexity in 2 dimensions sometimes, and it's hard. It's really hard. You go away after a day's work thinking, did I do all right? I was as truthful as I could be, given the very narrow parameters of that scene, those 2 scenes. And it's not ultimately satisfying.
I asked Abigail about the series coming to an end. How was you kind of joyful to know you're getting back together for another series, and having that connection with people who you don't see every day, you come back to them maybe once a year. Obviously, Sean scored very well tonight, hasn't he, in terms of likability. Everyone seems to like Sean.
Oh!
I mean, it sounds like you had such a brilliant connection.
We did,
Sadness. Abigail was saying that, very proud of this, how you work. Obviously, very sad that it's coming to an end.
Yeah, it's really a mixture, isn't it? As actors you get used to that. That's the way we work. You get very close and intimate and hopefully happily so on a job, and then you disagree and you might not see each other for 5 years, or it might be on the next job, or it might be not at all. So you get used to that. But when you've been done it for nine years, it's just lovely to come back each year. You're not thinking about it if you leave in the interim. You're getting on with what the next thing is. But when you do see each other, it's like the conversation just continues from where you left off. I know about you. There's an actor friend of mine. Do you know Oliver Cotton?
Yeah.
Oliver Cotton, great actor. I was friendly with the RSC, and we had this relationship where we wouldn't see each other for might be 5 years. And I remember this driving into a car park at the National somewhere. Car coming the other way, window winds down, and he says, and another thing. And you just stop, again. I don't know if you have anybody like that, but it's just like, that's how we are really. You just jump in, and then you drop it. But the great thing is you weren't there because you got stuck in traffic. But when I was doing the two popes at the Rose, and we'd finished shooting, I don't know, some weeks before. Must be quite a while. And they all turned up on, I don't know if it's press night or one of the shows. And I came down a flight of stairs into the foyer from the dressing room. And as I came down the stairs, there was Team Endeavour there, all beaming. And it's like, you were stuck in traffic. But it's just a lovely thing. But of course we'll have the Christmas special. A musical of life. Reginald is
Do you, it's probably a very different question, do you have a favourite series?
A favourite
Series through the Endeavour? A particular series that you enjoy more than others?
Well, again, the little moments where I could actually, I think there was a moment on there, the tiger who said I laughed, because you saw a little bit of his past. God, he shot a tiger, he nearly saved someone. You want to know these things, and it was a joy to be that. And then the other moment, of course, with Jimmy in the club, when he goes to talk to the man about the diagnosis, his wife's diagnosis. Again, there's a whole landscape of vulnerability of this man trying to get a second opinion, but his whole sort of upbringing doesn't allow him to break down and get used to breaking down. Just the joy to try to break that.
You have, it must be very rare in the acting world, you're playing a former detective on BBC One in Better,
yes.
Whilst you are playing Bright.
Yes.
Your police connection on 2 channels almost at the same time. And literally good cop and bad cop.
That's great.
Yeah, it's very dodgy. Very dodgy in Better.
Spanish.
A lot of Spanish.
Is it more enjoyable to be good or bad?
It feels like a cliche to say, it's great to play bad part, but I suppose. No, the best is to play people who are complicated, I think.
And Bright is complicated.
Well, everybody is, aren't they? I used to say, it's hard to say actually, but I used to say, even a small part, I like to try and approach it as I would approach something as difficult as Hamlet. Because if you don't, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to find real aspects of being a human being. You're just presenting what's maybe contained in a couple of lines. Of course you can't, if you've only got a few lines, but that's the sort of attitude I like to have, Here's a penny cop. Well, it's not just a penny cop. there's a reason why that happened. I say I'm a lazy actor, and I think all this is going on subliminally, and everybody was searching if we can get away with it. But I think there's a lot going on subliminally, and one's picking up things by osmosis, just being with people, like sitting here now, stuff's going in that I'm not aware of. Maybe something will happen that you think, where did that come from? Where did that come from?
I mean, you're picking up an extraordinary, diverse fan base, aren't you? You've got these huge franchises. You've got the Morse, they call them like the Morseverse, don't they? The verse and the Morseverses. You've got the Game of Thrones fan base. You've got the prequel for Star Wars. Is there any particular fan base that becomes more dominant in your life?
I'm not really aware of it, really, to be honest, because I'm not that good in social media. The scary thing happened to me. So a lady was writing to me, and I often, I'm as polite as I can be when I respond, walk to class, photos, things like that. But it was very scary because she wrote to my home address. And I thought, these letters all come through our agents, and you get a bunch of letters. But this came to my home address, and I said, I have to respond to you. Well, how did you find it? Oh, it's on the internet. No, I said I thought it was your business address. I don't have a business address. It's my house. And you think, I don't like this. Something could turn up at your place. The gun or something. I didn't like you. You were horrible to that young man. So I'm not really aware of all this fan-based stuff. But it is often as though people know more about you than yourself. You say, oh, you were in this, 40 years ago, and you think, I can't remember ever doing that.
I have to just say that when we were doing ENDEAVOUR, there was the joke that Anton was the busiest actor in Equity because he was always dashing off to do Game of Thrones or dashing off to do something really exciting. And we always felt like we were the sort of boring, come back and, oh, I've got to do that, but actually I'm off to Malta now, or I'm off to somewhere exotic and wonderful. And we were always going off and
sorry.
He couldn't tell us because it was all his top secret.
Oh,
he did it, yeah, but it was all like he's always doing the exciting and really thrilling stuff. And we're just like the boring ones.
Jules, why don't you come up and you can share? Spill some more beans on us.
Oh no! He's just a very prolific actor, I'm sorry, I will.
I noticed, Anton, and actually she shared some as well, when we were playing the video of your collective moments, you didn't want to look at it. So I suppose the question is, are you both going to watch the final episode of ENDEAVOUR in real time?
Yes. I think if we're going, there's a sort of screening, then I think we are going to attend. I mean, it's going to be quite strange, isn't it? Quite sad, but and I don't like looking at myself, so but I always get cut anyway, so it's fine. But yeah. Are you going to go to the screening? Are you going to the screening? Don't go. You're filming. You see what I mean? He's filming. He's always filming. He's always doing something wonderful.
No, I don't think
No.
So how much gets of Dorothy as character? How much of that do you think is what's missing? As in how much? What percentage of it?
Well, for the one that's just gone, there are 3 scenes that have vanished from the episode we've just seen. So I didn't know, But I lost 3 scenes, so I got 1 out of 4. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yes, it's quite, because Ross does write these incredibly dense plots. So, yeah, you have to. But like Anton, you sort of think, you know, and you have scenes with other characters, and you have that interaction, which is great fun. But sadly, you know, you have to know who did it and why.
Oh, I'm just thinking of something that's really embarrassing. Every read-through that we ever had, there'd be a moment, I'd be doing really well, trying to follow the script, and trying to work out, oh, okay, I've got this stuff. Because he writes so many layers, doesn't he? Subplots, and I'm thinking, I've got this, and then there'd be a moment when Roger, who's usually Roger Allen, would look at me and go, you know what's going on, do you? No. I could never stay the whole course, and I just gave up. And then I thought, well, this is, you know, the punters are going to hear the plot through Reggie, who needs to know what's happening. So my function, in a way, was to say, well, I thought so-and-so was the suspects on this. Oh, yes, so-and-so, you see? Right. So I thought it was appropriate that I didn't have a clue what
and I still watch them kind of, I still, you know, because my daughter's like them, but Roger always used to say when the film went, have you read this story? Yeah, but it changes all the time.
So Roger is, you work with Roger Allen, don't you? Who, I'm sure he's here as well, but I'm sure the three of you can really dish them proper dirt.
Definitely.
How has it been working with Roger? Because he's been in some, he always seems to have a very good, very dry sense of humour.
Bloody nightmare. Liability, absolutely liability.
So unprofessional. So unprofessional. No, he's great. He's great. You know, I'm very, very fond of him, and in fact, I'm missing being on the sofa on Good Morning this week with him, which I would have really liked to do, to sort of take the piss out of him in publicly. But in Venice, so.
There you go.
But no, he's very funny, very dry, very many things, and he has a very good coffee making machine, which was essential. And if you're very nice to him, he would let you have one of his espressos.
Is it a machine that has the pulse going?
No. It's proper.
Right, serious
stuff.
stuff.
Italian, none of this nonsense. So I had to give him a lot of coffee when at the end, you know, our sort of farewell gifts and stuff. Was a lot of coffee to compensate it.
I suppose you've all said one goodbye. You're not going to turn up to the final showing with the artist meeting. So I guess you've already said your goodbyes.
I think we all cherish, you know, the hope that we'll bump into each other somewhere on some set somewhere. If not anything to do with this, it could be on something else.
That's right. It's true what you say about actors. You have to get used to it. You say goodbye all the time. One of the lovely things about Endeavour was that you would have somebody on set, wouldn't you? You'd have like, oh yes, I know that, you know, be an old friend, or somebody you were at drama school with, or somebody who you did your first rep job with, or someone who you know, there was always someone you knew, and the same with the crew as well. You know, you'd have like the gaffer, well, no, Vince was always there, but you know, someone who, you know, or the second, the first AD, you know, the first assistant director, or someone who you just knew from another job. That was so lovely. Also, actually, that's being old, to be honest, that is getting old.
So does anyone, I know we have a lot of Morse and Endeavour fans in, does anybody want to ask a question to Anton or Abigail? Oh, hands up straight away. No. Do you want to?
Congratulations on your amazing performances. What is it about Endeavour Morse do you think that has obsessed British people for 30 years? 40?
I've no idea. I mean, I think the genre of the crime drama seems to. When I was a kid, it was Dixon and Doc Green. It seems to be something that there's a big picture of storytelling per se. For some reason, we as human beings need to be told stories to reflect how we are as people. You know, Shakespeare says, hold a mirror up to nature. That's the big picture. For some reason, it's an important part of being in a culture that nourishes telling stories. And then within that, the sort of smaller aspect is the genre, the crime drama. Why is that sort of storytelling particularly? We seem to be obsessed by that. Maybe it's to do with we all want to solve puzzles. You know, we need a sort of we like this Bam sleuth quality, and we can do it from the safety of our sofas. We can vicariously be the bad guy and the good guy and the cop and the victim, and it's all safe. We can do unsafe things in a safe place. I don't know. I'm just you know, I don't know why it is, but then within that, given that for some reason we love that genre, then you've got the specific types of series. So Morse, going back to the original, was not only a story, it was a crime story, but it was a classy crime piece of work with great actors and great writing. So for all those reasons, it seems to be something we just love over and over again to watch, and I don't know.
Can I ask you what makes you feel so engaged with it?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You just love it.
Well, I love Oxford and I love its mystery, and I think if I really had to put my cards on it, I think it's got a lot to do with the class system, because there do seem to be a lot of over-representation of Oxford dons behind their hard walls butchering each other.
Someone else wants to ask? Yes.
What do you think were the hardest scenes to film? The most challenging ones?
No,
You've got to go.
I've got to. I'm so sorry. I had to dash, but go ahead. No, I'm not.
See you somewhere. Yes. No.
Sorry.
Get it off.
What a shocking shame!
The hardest thing for me to film was definitely the scene in the Gentleman's Club with Jimmy, where I asked him about. No, not that. That was difficult. But for the same reason, it was when I got the phone call about my wife. And I had to work out how to respond in a way that felt truthful. And I hadn't got a clue how to do it. I said to the director, Kate Saxon, I don't know what the real response to receiving that bit of news was brilliant. And she was brilliant. She just, she said, yes, you do. And of course, sadly, as we all have, we've had those moments, received news like that. But you don't necessarily trust yourself to recall it in a way that will then feel authentic, either to you or to somebody watching it. So, that was really, really good.
Probably squeezing one more question. Oh, so many hands. I don't know what's to feel terrible thinking that, so no one was giving us a pick someone. How about, we'll have a chat there, we'll have a gentleman there.
In the series, the character that you played was a thoroughly miserable sort of guy. I didn't particularly like you as a character. You seem totally different in real life. You seem a thoroughly jovial sort of guy. How difficult was it? Because playing something opposite to what you really are.
Well, it's great. It's fantastic because you feel you're stretching yourself. You feel you're actually doing the job of acting instead of just sort of walking on and just being yourself, which a lot of actors do, which is great. But I love it. I love being a bent cop on Tuesday and a horrible Tuesday.
Anton, you have been absolute star.
I know.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Abigail was also brilliant. She's had to dash off because she's going away. But it's just fantastic to have you here and telling the stories, and you've been so entertaining.
I could sit here for ages if somebody brought me a warm coat. I was in the church last night, much colder than this.
So we're nearly getting towards the end of our time here. So we're going to take a look